anxious to get through worship today. Is that kind of picking up on that? I had the blessing to entrust this KD Lab to very capable men and women, and you were abundantly ministered to and blessed. It's an honor to be in the company of godly men and women who share the same vision and passion and don't depend on a man or an individual to get her done. Because you don't follow me, you follow the Lord. And you draw upon each of your gifts and your abilities and callings to fulfill our mandate to take the good news of Messiah to the four corners of this earth, to lift his name on high. We visited another congregation in Florida, and the praise was incredible, quite frankly. And to participate in your seat with praise and worship was truly a wonderful experience. And to enter into the presence of Hashem, though in a different context, but the realization that we are all one body. Amen. We are not a synagogue, we are not church. We are a body of Messiah. We are a people united in a common cause, in a common purpose, and a common love and desire.
That's right.
So when we praise this morning, we do so acknowledging his glory, his grace, his mercy. We take nothing for granted today. So our praises come from the depths of our soul because truly is an expression of the gratitude that we have and the recognition of the tremendous sacrifices that God the Father made by surrendering his Son, and the Son who surrenders his life so that we would have hope, we would have promise, we would have a destiny eternally.
So glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way. where I find you in mystery. Oceans deep, my faith will stand. I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace. For I am yours. You are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Sovereign hand, be my God. Your feet will fail and fear surrounds me. You never failed, you won't stop now. So I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul rests in your embrace. For I am yours, you are mine. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you will call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you will call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. I will call upon your name. Keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise and the soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours, you are mine. You are You know, maybe I'm being redundant, I don't mean to be, but it's so, you know, honestly, sometimes almost a rabbi has to be, a pastor has to be. At a certain point, you just got to keep driving them home until sooner or later we own it. If you could sum up what it is to walk with Yeshua, if you're looking at sum total, we can come up with all kinds of words. It's the blood, it's sacrifice. God, we can go on and on and on. And, but honestly, in my opinion, one of the best ways to wrap everything up concisely is to say, emptying self. It's just really what it comes down to.
emptying self, putting self aside for Him.
Give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. Give myself away. Give myself away so you can use me. Give myself away. Give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. Give myself away so you can use me. Here I am. Here I stand. Lord, my life is in your hands. Lord, I'm all are love. You bring light to the darkness. You give hope. You restore every heart that is broken. Breathe on you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you are love. You bring light to the darkness. You give hope. You restore every heart that is broken. Breathe on you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. 'Cause great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. 'Cause great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you give love, you bring light to the darkness. You give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. We serve a great God that does great things. All these things He does
life and love and light, hope, restoration. The very breath in our lungs should be breathing His praises. Your purpose to take that air in is to extract God's glory, His praise, to celebrate Him this morning. Look around. Perilous times we're living in. The enemy wants to take the praise from your lips. If you look throughout history, the way that attack always comes is from within. If we are suffering like Linda's right now, she's not feeling well, she can't breathe very well, she's coughing and sore throat, which I had for 3 weeks. Where did it come from? It attacked us from within. There are forces attacking this nation from within. They find a way in, and then they do their work from the inside out. It happens in families, it happens in congregations, it happens everywhere. God can drive out that darkness, because when there's an absence of light, there's darkness. When there's an absence of health, there's lack of health, disease. So breathe life. That's right. Breathe strength, bring power, bring praise. Amen. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. 'Cause great are you, Lord. It's still breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to only to you only. This is not an open relationship with the Lord. There's only one relationship. There's only one way. And He's jealous. He doesn't share. Remember that. Embrace all who He is and live for all who He is. Amen? Amen. Why don't you greet your neighbors and our guests today? I know what it's like to be a guest. I was one last week.
it is, leave your cupboard doors open. Because he gets hungry when he's out running around. Leave your cupboard doors open. I'm from northern Michigan, so this is an old story to me. Is leave your cupboard doors open under your sink and keep them from freezing. Sometimes helps, not always. That's your tip for today.
From Nanook to the north.
But there's no snow.
Yeah, okay.
You could be over in Erie.
Let's not poke the bear here,
You
okay?
could be over in Erie or up in Buffalo or something like that. 5 feet of snow, that reminds me of home. Anyway. Welcome and to this, the last Shabbat service of the Gregorian 2017. It's an opportunity for you. The tzedakah box is here. The final offering that we received for this year, and it's been a good year.
Amen.
But you can make it better. Amen. It's good to get to the end of the year and say all bills are paid and everything is current and everything is going as we hope it to be. Even things keep falling in place for us. I understand that we got somebody that's going to take the sign down for us.
Oh, let me,
Mind if I tell the story?
Tell that story.
Let me tell this story. So I get a phone call from Mr. AEP, American Electric Power, and says, you know, we got some equipment we need to set up, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind us taking the sign down. So I said, well, gosh, I don't know. I don't know about that. He goes, well, I'll give you more money. I go, oh, all right. You know, you got to use your gifts, you know.
You use them to your
And when it comes time to put it back up, you say, well, just give us the money for it.
So we have a much bigger check coming now from American Electric. It's about time the electric company pays us and us paying them, right? I figured you'd appreciate that.
There's a long story behind all of that. That's this whole sign issue, and if you want to hear it, we'll gladly share it with you. But God provides. It's something that, as you said, God is in control.
thank you.
And what we perceive as major problems, when they moved all this equipment out here in front of that big old sign and was when we were freshly moved into this building, nobody's going to be able to see where we are. They can't see our sign because all this equipment is out there, and we stressed about it. And in reality, we are getting a brand new sign that is going to be fully paid for.
Hallelujah.
We were stressing over the fact that we got this big sign out here, it's got to be taken down. How are we going to get it taken down? There's the answer. Where are we going to get the funds to take care of some of the things we need to do around here? God is providing. The same thing is true in your life. The biggest things that you stress over are the things that God will come down and say, you had no reason to worry or think about that. Leave it to me. We have several visitors in our congregation today, and periodically I like to go through what we do and why we do it.
Thank you.
All the way from the sound of the shofar, all the way to the last bite of oneg, and even into the big midrash that follows thereafter. There is purpose and reason that we do what we do.
Thank you.
The sounding of the shofar is biblical. That was, matter of fact, God has told us to be aware, because on His second coming, when He comes to reunite with us and bring us home, He's going to do it with the sound of a shofar. The shofar was used consistently as a call to worship, a call to assembly, a call whatever, and that's why we open our service with the shofar. It's a call to service. The service has begun. Our worship time has begun. Our Shabbat time together has begun. And as we go through our worship service, there are things that we do that you may look at and say, gee, where did that come from? Why did we do that? For example, the dance. And there are several aspects to the dance. Number one, it is biblical. David danced. That's why it's called Davidic dance. David danced. He choreographed. And if you watch our dancers as they dance, there are several things within that to bear in mind. Number one, it's done in a circle. Why is it done in a circle? It's because there is no beginning and end. It's a unity. It's a one. There is no leader. We do have dance choreographers, dance leaders, but it's not that they are following that person around. That's not the beginning of the circle, because the circle is unbroken. It is a circle of all one. Echad. Echad in Hebrew means one, gathering together as one unit, as one body.
Thank you.
It's also choreographed, just as our lives. God choreographs our lives. He teaches us the steps to get us through life. There are specific steps, and you watch the dancers, they follow those same steps, or try to. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're off on their own somewhere out in left field, but that's okay. There is a choreography to what they are doing, because God choreographs our life. There is no one person standing out doing something different than everybody else. It's we are together as a God. When we look at the Torah, and some wonder, why do we take this Torah and walk it around, and move it around? God's Word tells us that the Word became flesh and dwelt among people. Who was it? That was Yeshua.
Amen.
And so we take the Torah, the Word, and bring it into the people.
Thank you.
You'll see some that reach out and touch it and kiss it or just embrace it. When Yeshua walked on this earth, people scrambled to be near him, to touch him, to be aware of where he was. And that's what we want to do with his word, is we want to reach out to it. We want to take hold of it and to bless it.
Just to tap into that, both the Lynchers and I, many of you know Pastor Morrison, one of the stories he shared about his ministry in India is that when he would be invited to speak somewhere, people were lined up outside the door and around and down the street, and they weren't lined up because they wanted to hear his great words of wisdom, from the Word. They wanted to touch. They would line up for him to hug them or to touch them. That's what they wanted more than anything else, was they wanted that affection, that connection. They felt they were getting through him to God.
That's a part of relationship and part of togetherness. Why do we, during our time of meet and greet, do you come up and hug somebody? Because that is a sign of respect. It's a sign of love. It's a sign of camaraderie, companionship. Just a sign of somebody I want to be with. And we want to be with our fellow believers.
Amen.
Our time of worship, and there are many forms of worship. Worship, and these are all biblical. The worship in song, in singing. There are music that is played on our instruments. There is representation of worship in raised hands or in praising with amens, with whatever. That's a part of worship, and that's biblical. We try to be as biblical and worshipful as we possibly can. When we look at the songs and the liturgy that we use, you'll see a lot of it is in Hebrew. Why? Because that is God's language. The Hebrew, that's what the whole Old Testament, as you want to refer to it, or God's original words, were given in Hebrew. But every time you see the Hebrew, it will be followed with English. We don't want you reciting something that you know not what you're reciting. And so we will use the Hebrew and the English to follow it. The liturgy, where does it come from? 99 2/3% of it, like ivory soap, comes directly from the scriptures. And that's why we use it, because God told us to. We teach our children, because in the Shema and the Hafta, it says, teach our children diligently. And therefore, when it comes time for our message of the day, our kids will be dismissed to go downstairs and they will receive their message, their instructions. We're going to teach them diligently on a daily basis. Live before them a life that they can follow and know what God would have us to do. We celebrate the feasts, the biblical feasts, the ones that are mandated in His Word. One of those is coming up here in another couple months, and I want you to remember it will be on the 29th of March, which is a Thursday evening, We'll be celebrating Pesach, and we'll be at the North Canton Civic Center. We'll start at 6 o'clock. You get tired of hearing that between now and then, but I'm not going to listen anyway. It says, when is that again? 6 o'clock on the 29th of March, North Canton Civic Center. When we leave from this place, and we leave with the Aaronic benediction, God instructed every deliverer of his message to bless his people with Aaronic blessing at the close and as they sent them on their way. That's why we end our service with Aaronic blessing. We go from here over into the Owning Hall or the Fellowship Hall, whatever you want to call it, and we share in a Kiddush. Some look at that and say, well, that looks like communion to me. No, that's not what it is. What it actually is, it is a celebration and the thanks to God who provides all of our sustenance.
Yes.
So it is a blessing and a reminder that God has provided what we drink and what we eat. He provides for us in all those ways. We also have a meal following that. Now that's kind of tradition, because in the ancient worship, because they came so far, it was always a worship included meal. People brought food and shared it one with another, and that's what we do. Probably the best part of our whole service is the Kiddush, the time of morning that we have. And we encourage all of you to stay for that. That's the best time to get here. If you have any questions, you have any discussion you want to get involved in, or just something you want to share, that's the time to do it. And come and be a part of that and stay for that. There is always plenty of food. We have never sent anybody home hungry. Matter of fact, we usually send people home with additional food. And then that is followed by our Beit Midrash. Beit Midrash being a study, a Torah study, for all those that would like to stick around and just have discussion on the Torah portion. So that's why we do and what we do. There is reason and purpose behind all of it. But the biggest part of it is drawing together as one, Echad, and to worship together. Now we go into probably the most important part that I see of our whole service time, and that is when we go to the Torah and look at the portion for this week. Any synagogue or Messianic congregation that you went into today would be studying from the same portion as what we will be studying from today. It's just a series of what we do.